What's up? Guess what's happening now? We're going to do the Livewire demo with a bit of a twist. So I've set up my app layout in readiness, and I've got one root that doesn't really do anything. You can see on the left here it's blank, which is just the default Laravel welcome view. And what I want to do is install a Livewire component instead. So that's what we'll do. PHP artisan Livewire make. We'll start with the basic one, right? Counter. Nope. No. So we should have a Livewire counter. Cool. Good. And I don't want this to be a closure. I want it to be, what do I want it to be? I want it to be the counter component that we've just created. Right. Save that. Hopefully the browser will refresh automatically, but it hasn't. So that means that it doesn't watch this file. Right. Now we've got a layout. It's using the layout that I've defined. And we've got our counter component, hopefully somewhere rendered in there. But what's going on? There is nothing in there. So let's put some stuff in here. How do we put stuff in here? Let's have a look. Well, first of all, maybe let's have a container for value. So say the count. And we want our component open as well, don't we? So let's get that. Okay. So we've got 0 as the count. And then let's have a button. Let's have a nice button. We'll have the usual. We'll have increase and decrease. Right. And then we want wire, click. We want to increase and wire, click, decrease. So let's wire those up. Public function increase, and this should just say, ooh, Funkiton. This count plus, and take this, do that again. This count minus, and we're going to say decrease. Right. So now we should be able to bam, 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 bam. Right. So let's just make the layout a bit sexier. So we're going to say for this text size, what is it? Text 2XL, font bold, font, do we have fixed? Mono, that's the one I'm after. In fact, let's put this in a div instead, and we're going to have it flex justify center. Tidy this up, and then our buttons will have also in a flex, and we'll say justify between. I don't actually know if that's going to be any good, but well, yeah, they're a bit far apart. Let's not do justify between, let's just do justify around. That should bring them a bit closer. That's better. And we'll give them some color, I think. So let's make them primary for now. Just so that they're not so pale. Cool. Right. This works here in the browser, and it's very nice. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with how that's working. This is great for like live development work. You know, you're working on your application, but then you want to move that to testing it on device. So here we go. Buckle up. Sorry, just a little warning. the next screen is going to be quite bright. So sorry for the shock. Let's go. Do, 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 do. Builds can sometimes take a while. Okay, this bit takes a bit because it's connected to the debugger and it's got to do some extra steps, but normally this is quite fast. We're doing it. Oh, it's there. Cool. So we've got Livewire, we've got Flux, we've got all of that. Nice. So let's just see if it actually works. This is the iPhone mirroring. So it's connected to my phone, which is right here. That's what's running on my phone. And it's running all of the PHP code, all of the requests you can see flowing through here, where we're getting the request from the web view and we're passing it onto PHP and returning the response. And obviously Livewire handles that very nicely for us, so we can do all of this kind of stuff, which is cool. We should have some other elements here too. Yeah, so we've got a nice little UI coming together for our app, which is nice. Okay, that's fine. But what happens if we shut down our app and boot it back up again? You can see it's a bit quicker. Response time's faster because it's not having to check to see if there are any breakpoints that we're going to stop on. So that's nice. Sometimes it's a bit slower. Sometimes iOS's UI weirdness gets in the way, but it's cool. It's good. Like, mostly it's how we want it to be, and that's great. But now, if I close my app, let's do it with the task switcher. Quit that. As you'd kind of expect, I guess, the application state in Livewire has been reset. But let's say we want to store that. Let's come back to our dev environment. And we just want to store that value somewhere. So the easiest solution might be to reach for a database. So that's what I'm going to do. This is using SQLite by default already. I've created the database. This is the wrong thing. Make migratione. And I'm just going to call it Datastore. So we're going to say create Datastore. Datastore table. Datastore. So I'm going to add a column to this table that just represents our count as a simple thing. So keep it easy. I'm actually just going to rename this to data stores so that I don't have to fiddle around in the model. And then we're going to do PHP artisan make model data store. Keep it easy. And then let's open our data store because we're going to need to set some stuff here. I want fillable count. Fine. And then in our component, we can just do this in render, I think. Yeah. Let's do data store first or create. Maybe we can do first or create. Don't know. We want the count to be this count. So let's see what happens when we do that. Oh, I didn't migrate. Let's migrate. Be artisan migrate. Cool. Let's try that again. Right, it hasn't interrupted our system, but let's see what we've got in our database. Right, it's creating a row for each value, basically. Oh yeah, and when it finds the same value, it just updates it. That's not very good. We're just going to end up with every number in our database as a row, which is not what we want. Okay, so let's refactor this. I just want to see if there's a data store row. So the first one. Let's get the first one always. If there is one, then we can update that. Ooh, data store update. And we want to update the count with the current count. Else we can create. We can just keep that as a simple create. So maybe now that will work. So the first one should be 0, and when we update it, it should now say 1. Cool. And now it's going to say 5. Right, so I'm just going to clear this out. How do I do that? There. Cool. Refresh. And we'll do that. Nice. We have a very good little data store. Okay. That's fine. Again, we're doing this all in our development environment. This is just running on my Mac through Herd. This isn't particularly great. We're demoing how this works on an iPhone. So, moment of truth. Close your eyes again. Oh, sorry, it's really bright. And we'll rebuild our application now that we've got it kind of working. While that's going on, one of the things to think about is how the database is configured and the data that's in it when it's running on a user's device. So we don't copy the database from your development environment into the iPhone app environment. We create a brand new SQLite database for you inside the user's kind of file system. And so that has to be migrated separately and dealt with differently. And you can see that that happened here right at the beginning. In this case, we ran our new migration, which is very good. So now we've got that table, it's ready, should be ready to receive updates from our UI. So now when I update the state here, it's going into our database. The thing is, we can't see that database here. There's no way to check that. But there's something we've missed. We might be getting the data into the database, but we haven't fetched it back out. So if I refresh this, it's going to start from 0. And what we want to do is get the current value from the database when we render the page. And so we can do that in Livewire. How do we do that in Livewire? We do a public function. Is it mounted? Just mount? Is it mount? So we can say this count equals. I'm just going to be really lazy, just for the sake of demoing. But count. That hasn't worked, has it? It's because the value is 0. And now it works. Yeah, okay. So that's just me being stupid. Cool. Okay, let's flip back and do this again here. So this time, it shouldn't need to migrate the table because it's already got it on the device. So I haven't deleted the app or anything like that. And there should be a value in that table, which it now will render out for us when it renders the page. And then we should be able to update it, quit the app, reopen, and it kind of starts from where we left off, which would be nice to see. This is fun, isn't it? Cool. There you go. So it's remembered the value that we stored, and it's rendering it back to the page. So that proves that our database is working. We can see there was nothing to migrate at the top, so it didn't need to do that migration that we created this time. And if I update this value to something else, in fact, let's just be crazy. Let's make it negative something, -3. Love the number 3. Quit this. Sorry, we have to do it this way. Cool. And ding, there we go. So that's persistent data, and also Flux apparently, and Livewire. You're welcome. So that's a lot, and I think there's a lot more to come, because we haven't even really started scratching the surface of the stuff that we could do here. We can make calls through PHP that will invoke Swift code, which could be really interesting. Essentially just making the right calls to handle two-way input from Swift. Who knows? We could have all sorts of Swift bindings in PHP. And that extends to Android too. There's no reason why this in principle can't work there. If you want to see all of those things kind of come to reality, you know at the end of the day, this is going to be worth something to you. If you see the potential of this, it's because there's some hopefully financial benefit to you, that you'll be able to use the skills that you already have and build products using the technologies that you're most comfortable with. And I think that that has fantastic value. So I'm really asking for your input financially in whatever way you can. I've obviously got the GitHub sponsors and a few other places that you can donate funds through. I'm happy to give people access to the repo, and they can start collaborating if they join the early adopter program right now. If you want to use this in a product and there's a certain thing that you want to do, let's chat. Those are a few of the ways that hopefully we can get this funded. Obviously, the next challenge now is to get this in front of Apple and see if we can get it released onto the App Store. So we'll see if that comes off. I'm going to fight to make this thing a reality. I would like for this to work, because I think this is a great thing, and I think it's an awesome opportunity, and it's going to change how a lot of developers think about the things that they can do. I think it opens a door to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of PHP developers that would have been closed to them. Basically, you have to learn another set of skills to do this stuff. And with this, you don't. You can use what you already know. And I think that's extremely valuable. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. And I will see you on the flippity flop, or whatever they say.